The Black Stars have qualified for the 2022 FIFA World Cup after eliminating Nigeria in the playoffs. After the first leg ended goalless, the second leg that was played in Abuja yesterday was much intense and action-filled as the game ended a goal apiece, which means Ghana are through to the World Cup based on away goal rule. So we are seated once again to discuss the game and some unfortunate incidents that happened at the Abiola Stadium right after the final whistle. My name is Emmanuel Enin and this is Ghana Web TV. As usual, I've been joined by the sub-editor for My Nigeria, that is Babatunde, and also managing editor for Ghana Web, Mr. Daniel Odro. And I have a special guest on the show today, that is Joseph Adamafio, who was present at the Abiola Stadium. He will give us vivid account on what really happened at the Abiola Stadium. Let me welcome my guests. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
I think the game didn't go as Babatunde you expect. I'm starting with you, as you would expect. What do you think went wrong for Nigeria in the game yesterday?
Like I said during the live updates with regard to the game yesterday, I think that Augustine Eguavoen made some bad changes in the second half. I believed he couldn't have taken out Lukman because he was having a good day. You know, starting the front line, a very, very new set of attackers, Osimhen, Emmanuel Dennis coming from the right and Lukman coming from the left, more or less confused. And the Ghanaians were not expecting it because the strategy was all different. Yeah. It was different from what they were expecting, Chukwueze and Simon Moses. So this brought a new breath of life into the team. And the second half again, this is something where Augustine Eguavoen might probably have to work on his changes. Are not too perfect, and he doesn't know when to make them. But again, this is football. The Black Stars did what they can. The Super Eagles did what they can. I mean, the best team went through.
Okay. Now to the prophets, Mr. Daniel Odro. You predicted 1-1 for Ghana, and it came through. How did you do it?
Well, I'm not always spot on with my predictions, but this time I thought there was no way that the Ghana Black Stars were not going to score a goal at the Abiola Stadium. I thought they knew that if they scored one, the Nigerians would have to score two, and that was always going to be a daunting task. So if I was a coach, that's what I was going to tell the players, try and get a goal at least to make the tie very difficult for the Nigerians. And I was confident the Black Stars were going to qualify because, as I said the other time, we needed two results to go in our favor, a draw or a win for the Black Stars. That was always more probable than the Nigerian needing a win at all costs to go through to the World Cup. And again, because if you look at the history of the Nigerians, they hadn't done very well at home. In fact, their performances and results away from home had been better. So for them not to have scored here with all the attacking, if you like, machinery and options that they had, it was always going to be difficult for them. And I knew that if they didn't score a goal in the first half, the pressure was going to be on the players because the crowd can be a bit hostile. And so that's how come I got my predictions right. I knew it was going to be difficult for the Ghanaians to win outrightly, but I also knew that if there was anything at all that they could get from the game, it was to get a draw. And that's exactly what they did and managed to scale through to the World Cup, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I can see from your face you are very, very excited. Now, Adamafio, you were at the stadium and you covered the game, both the first leg and the second leg. Comparing the atmosphere, Kumasi and Abiola Stadium, how was it like? Wow.
Abiola Stadium was just something different from what we had at the Barbara Sports Stadium. You know, at the Barbara Sports Stadium, it was on Friday. Government didn't even give any official notice for companies to allow their employees to go or staff to close early. But for the MKO Abiola Stadium, prior to the match, we got informed that the state had informed companies to allow their workers close at 1 p.m. So at the time we got there, we arrived in Abuja, I think, around 2 p.m. We made our way to the Ghana High Commission. So we passed by the stadium, and I must tell you, the fans were there in their numbers. Straight from some towns that we bypassed, you could see that they were busing them. And when we finally made our way to the stadium, We had tickets. I don't know whether I still have my ticket, but we were not checked. It was open
You
for
went
free
in
gates.
without being checked.
Yeah, I still have my ticket with me. No, I think I left it.
So
We went in without being checked.
if that's the case, are we talking about the stadium having more than the 60,000 capacity?
I tell you, it was more than, because you know they designated a place for the away team, and we were supposed to have like 3 different rows
Yeah, okay.
in the stand, and the Ghanaians were not able to fill up the stands, and there were people standing. So the police couldn't handle it anymore, so they just allowed the people to mix up with the Ghanaian fans. But yeah, the Ghanaian fans did what they wanted to do. They sang throughout. Immediately we entered the stadium, they were making loud noise and everything, but the moment the supporters union released their instruments and started playing the drums, they realized that definitely they came with their loud noises, but the Ghanaians also came with their instruments,
okay.
and they stood on their feet from the blast of the whistle in the beginning to the end of the game, and I was so much impressed with the fans at the MKO Abiola Stadium.
All right. So what do you make of the performance of the Black Stars?
Well, the performance of the Black Stars, well, by 13th minute, we had scored a goal as a Ghanaian, and looking at about 60,000 Nigerian fans, and you threw the first punch, and it was an ecstasy, like jubilating, and you are the, how do you call it? You are the minimalist, or you are the small part of the group in the stadium, and you are jubilating, and nobody can even identify where you are jubilating from.
Yeah, okay.
And the fans were very livid, looking at their faces. Then they got the equalizer through that penalty kick. They were not too much excited because they knew they had to score more, but at some point they just lost it. They felt, okay, the game will progress to extra time, but they never knew about the away goal.
Yeah. Okay. Baba, let's talk about Augustine Guabon's tactics. Let's talk about Augustine Guabon's tactics. What do you think he could have done better with the strategies he went into the game with?
So I think that Augustine Guabon is quite rigid with his formation, and I think that that's something he will need to vary. Well, I still stand with the opinion that I think he's the man for the Super Eagles. He has the technical ability. He has the charisma, that the Super Eagles need in a coach. Unfortunately, when it comes to his changes and varying the tactics he doesn't have. For me, I would have preferred, I wrote in an article that morning that I would have preferred a 2-man forward. We saw in the first leg, we saw how Jiku and Amate actually man-marked Osimhen out of the game. And it was clear that that was going to be the same strategy they were going to employ in the second leg. Now, bringing in an Igalo who is strong in the air, somebody who is actually more physical, that can distract the attack from the defenses from Jiku and Amate on Osimhen, was going to be key. Ademola Lookman could have played, Emmanuel Dennis could have played in several other roles, But again, this is somebody who believes in wing play, and that's typically how Nigeria play. Okay. And I'm not surprised the likes of Tijani, Babangida, we have a lot of wingers, and that is the typical Nigeria formation. The Black Stars would rather play the central role and distribute. Yeah. Nigeria would like to play from the flanks. So I feel like he still has that mentality. Unfortunately, football has changed. Professional coaches or better coaches will come into a game with 2, 3, 4 strategies just in case your team is blocked here and there, but he didn't. And in as much as the Super Eagles are out, there are still silver linings in this particular game. There are still takeaways that we can go into the AFCON in 2023 with.
Let me ask you, would you maintain Augustine Guabon? Because I've seen complaints on social media that sacking General was a bad decision by the NFF.
Sacking General was the best decision the NFF had made, because General has stayed there for 5 years. The team became very, very complacent. The team became very, very stale. The boys were not playing for the team, for the country anymore. And you could see throughout the qualifiers, we dropped a couple of points. The most popular was the 4-4, I think, if I'm not mistaken, against Sierra Leone. You know, and bringing in Augustin Eguavon, who is a disciplinarian, he knows where to put the boys, irrespective of the huge amounts they earn in their clubs. He knows that, okay, if Kelechi Iheanacho is not fit for this game, irrespective of your name, you'll be on the bench. He knows that if Igalo cannot play in this particular game, irrespective of what you've achieved and your experience in the past, he's going to drop you on the bench. So that is the sort of manager or person we need leading the Super Eagles. And like I said again, he just needs to vary the tactics, probably go for more coaching courses, if that's possible, you know, just so he improves himself as a manager. And by the way, he comes in cheap for us. You know, expert coaches tend to charge extremely outrageous figures, $150,000. And at this point, I don't think Nigeria has that amount to waste on an expert coach, who indeed is not going to guarantee you the results.
Mr. Addo, we are talking about coaches.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Otto Addo won the day. How do you assess him?
I think he's vindicated the efforts that the GFA put in bringing him from Dortmund, and he's also shown that he was a big miss for us at the Africa Cup of Nations, because he's always been an assistant coach for the Black Stars the last couple of months, but he wasn't released by his club to be at the Africa Cup of Nations because, I mean, the European football and the European calendar was still active. So it tells you, I had a lot of journalists who were very angry that the Black Stars management team and the GFA was spending a lot of energy and time trying to convince this guy to come and coach the national team for the 2 playoff games. I think he's vindicated the Keto Kriko administration, and he's shown that even though this is his first primary job as a coach, he has a lot of knowledge about the game. His tactical awareness about the game is spot on, and which is the reason why the president of the country says we'll kidnap him. And that was a joke, but I mean, to say that we'll kidnap him, because he mapped up a strategy that worked over 2 legs. Look, player for player, cohesion-wise, the Nigerians are far ahead of the Black Stars. Yes, we can say that in terms of pedigree, maybe we are older than the Nigerians and we have a lot more pedigree because we won 4 AFCON titles and Nigeria have won 3 AFCON titles and all of that. So maybe we've got better pedigree. But if you look at the profile of the Nigerian players, they are a better squad than we are. And you saw that at the Africa Cup of Nations. Never mind that they lost to Tunisia in the round of 16. But this coach, born, raised in Germany, and always having the mindset that you've got to extract the best possible outcome out of the team that you have, out of the materials that are available to you. And he mapped up a strategy that worked. Look, it's only about 3 players or so who were absent from the Africa Cup of Nations. And we saw how disastrous they played. But this time there was a certain form and structure to how they played. It's the first time I've seen a coach after halftime do 3 changes. He changed Jordan Ayew, he changed Fatau Ishaku, and Idris Baba in the first half. In the first 45, they didn't come out for the second half. That tells you that he was reading the game very well. And let's not give only credit to him, but the entire backroom staff of the Ghana national team. He knew that player for player, we're not going to be a match for the Nigerians, and so he mapped up a strategy, and it worked magnificently. So you've got to give him the credit, and I think that the job now is to convince him to stay beyond this playoffs and to stay till at least after the World Cup. And if he's interested, maybe take over the job of the national team on a permanent basis. Look, we may not be able to offer him the wages that is on at Dortmund, but this is a national call. And I think that he would like what he has seen. The excitement that he felt in Kumasi, the excitement of qualification that he's a witness in Abuja, and to receive a call from the president of your country, even though he wasn't born here.
He was called Sir. He was
exactly,
Sir,
and all the appreciation, and even those who doubted him, now having converted them into believers because of the way he set up his team is magnificent. You need to give credit to all those who believed in him and all those who brought him to execute this plan. To take Nigeria out is a big upset. Look, I'm Ghanaian and I'm a journalist that follow this national team. And yes, a part of me always wanted us to qualify, and I'm happy that we've qualified. But when the draw was done, everybody knew that it was going to be a very difficult task. And for him to pull it off, it's massive. And massive for the FA, for himself, for the government, and everybody who's a stakeholder in this business.
So are you saying if you were the FA, you will
Yes.
give him the job permanently?
If he's interested, I will give him the job. They've always rated him. He was an assistant coach during Milo, and if he wants the job, not just him, but to keep the entire backroom staff. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll have the finances to keep all four of them. At some point, one or two may have to go because these are high-profile people, and so you can't keep George Boateng, Otto Addo, Chris Hughton, Didi Dramani, and all the backroom staff that you have. It is going to be an enormous financial outlay, and I don't think the country has that in their arsenal to pay. But even if he doesn't stay on as the head coach, I think he should have a role to play. He's been a scout in the past before, and now he became an assistant coach, and we're giving him gave him this opportunity to lead the lines, and he's done that tremendously. If he wants it, I'll give it to him.
Joseph, you are there at the venue, and do you remember in Kumasi, Otto Addo was sweating. He was really, really sweating. At Abuja, you were at the venue. How was his reaction during the game?
Well, his reaction during the game was very good. I think he was heated. He knew what was at stake, and he wanted to have his tactics just as he instructed the players to do. That's why you could see him on his toes on the touchlines, issuing instructions here and there. There were one or two occasions he consults his technical team to see if they are coming up with another plan or two. But it appears that he being on the touchline was annoying the linesman as well as the match official, which I think was not good because there was a point in time the Nigerians were trying to delay. They brought two balls on the field. He just went on to kick the ball out, and the referee gave him, how do you call it?
A caution.
A caution. I felt too bad about it. But for Coach Otto Addo, as our senior said, a lot of people didn't express optimism in him. I, for once, also, but not about his inexperience, the fact that certain players might end up in the team. And you could see that he didn't have the best players, but he was able to do something that was very great. In yesterday's game, I realized that Andy Adam had to come on as a substitute, and when he was brought on, that was when I realized that Iguavoin also made a substitution by bringing off Lookman, because he knew that Andy Adam coming on means that he has fresh legs and is going to worry his wide men. So he brought on Moses Simon, and he also kind of did so well, but Andy Adam made sure that he captured that kind of the position. But for Coach Otto Addo, I didn't think he was sweating. I think he had a good time, and you saw it in the videos that were circulating on social media of he being raised shoulders high by the players, and the players were singing his name, Otto and stuff. So it tells you that he's really got the dressing room and the players to his side. And looking at the kind of players we sent, our key player, that is Andre Ayew, was not in this squad, and yet still we were able to deliver at this 2 games that we played. And it tells you that given time and given the opportunity to have the best players that we indeed have as a national team, definitely when we go to the World Cup, definitely I think we'll be better than the 2014 World Cup where we exited at the group stages.
Sure, we all hope so. Baba, where do Nigeria go from here?
Like I said, the team is still good. I think that people are clamoring for the NFF to be sacked, Amaju Pinnick and co. But I think that's extreme. You know, Nigerians, the expectations of Nigerians were cut short. However, there's a lot of positives, you know, and I think that this FA have done a very, very good job in scouting the best Nigerian players globally. I mean, identifying Lookman, Emmanuel Dennis, and convincing them, not just identifying them, you know, convincing them to play for their country. It's something we must credit them for. And you realize that the enthusiasm in camp when they came in, Lookman, this was basically his first time coming to Nigeria, playing for the Super Eagles and co. But he was excited about it. Emmanuel Dennis as well. So the team is right. The team is compact. We all need to ensure the I's are dotted the T's are crossed, and we'll prepare for the AFCON in 2023. We'll come back more stronger, and by then, hopefully, I should just say this: the focus again for Eguavoin should be the goalkeeping division. Okay. You know, in the absence of Maduka Okoye, who got injured, you could realize that we're really suffering in that position. And I think the Ghanaians should give thanks to Frank Uzoho for this qualification.
He could have done better.
I mean, he should have done better without strike from Partey.
I'm coming. Mr. Odro,
Yes, sir.
with the goal Partey scored,
Yeah.
will you give the credit to Partey, or you think also who?
It depends on how you are looking at it. Because Okoye considered a similar goal in the Africa Cup of Nations against Tunisia, which got him abused on social media after they exited the Africa Cup of Nations. But I think Babatunde is right. I think the weakest department in the Nigerian team is their goalkeeping department. Okay. Even Maduka Okoye is not a top-class goalkeeper. And Nigerians have produced some very good goalkeepers. As in recent memory, you can talk about Vincent Yama, who's played at a very top level. I mean, if you look at some of the goalkeepers who've been imposed for Nigeria, these two will not come close to them. And I think it's a position that they need to find a very capable replacement for, if they are to win laurels going forward in the future. And also, individually, I think Nigerians have good players, but they need to gel as a team. They need to have different options and different plans when their best players are not having a good day. I remember in the lead up to this two-legged tie, the conversation was how they had 9 strikers in their squad, and we couldn't even boast of even one striker who is world class. And yet, in over 2 legs with 9 strikers, they had only 1 goal. That tells you that a lot more. By a defender. Yes, a lot more must be done. Yes, scored by their captain through the penalty kick, which many believe was very controversial in itself. So they need to start looking at their goalkeeping department. But to answer your question specifically, I think Partey knew the weaknesses of Uzo. And anybody who's watched Nigerian football for a while would know that if you shot from the back with long ranges, it was going to upset Uzoho. If you watch the first leg, there was a lot of attempts by Fatawi, Ishaaku and Kudus to try the long range effort. Yeah. But in that first leg, the defense did a solid job by blocking a lot of the long ranges. But this time, they gave Partey a lot of freedom around the box and space, and he got a clean sight at goal and shot, which brings into question the thing we've been talking about, that to get the best out of Thomas Partey, you need to let him come a bit further forward than when you ask him to play as a deep-lying midfielder, which limits his capability. So it depends on how you look at it. Yes, I think the goalkeeper could have done better, but it was a clean strike. And once the goalkeeper couldn't make the most out of it, then you've got to give the credit to the player.
Baba, so you were complaining about the goalkeeping department. So how do the NFF get the Vincent Inyemes and all that?
I think that the target or the focus has been more on attacking players by the NFF. I mean, scouting. They paid less attention to the goalkeeping division. And even Maduka Okoye, it was General who actually uncovered him. I mean, who spotted him, and he brought him into the team. Mind you, he's quite young, and just 23, and he just made a big money move to Watford. So hopefully, if him or when he moves to the Premier League, he's going to gather the experience. His confidence will be better and higher. I think he has the physique and the capabilities to be a very, very good Nigerian coach. So I mean, the NFF just have to understand that scouting for defenders as well is okay. Leon Balogun and Okong and the midfield and the attacking, but more attention should be paid to the goalkeeping division.
Okay, Joseph, we are getting down to the incident that happened right after the final whistle. Nigerian fans, they were angry, they invaded the pitch, they destroyed so many properties in the stadium. What led to the invasion?
So after the final whistle, it was supposed to be a goal kick, and the referee just signaled to end the game. So from where I was standing, I was having conversations with Nigerians standing close to me, and I was telling them that if the game ends with this scoreline 1-1, Ghana will be qualifying for the World Cup. And they were saying that no, It's not going to happen because they've cancelled the
So,
Away
meaning they
away
had
goal.
no clue about the
A lot of them did not have any clue, and I think that was why they were a little bit calm and waiting for the game to proceed to extra time, only to
find out
find out that
they've been
the game
eliminated.
has ended. So when the game ended, I was asking myself, are these people not going home? Don't they know the game has ended for Ghana to jubilate? Then the referee started walking off, and the reality started unfolding on its own. So by then I was making my report on the wrap of
Okay.
the game. Then the players quickly moved to where the Ghanaians were and started jubilating and celebrating, a video which has gone viral of party dancing and
Yeah.
artizigi. Before we could realize, the fans had just climbed the fence. When you look at that fence, I
Now,
think,
how is the fence like?
wow, this kind of fence is what we see in the Ghana Premier League and stuff. We don't use this kind of fence for a match like World Cup playoffs. This is not a glass fence. This is a fence that is square in square. So literally, if you put your leg in between and you put your hands up there, you can just climb. And one funny thing that happened when we were going into the stadium, or we were entering into where our seats were, there was a staircase, and these people were just climbing from the other side. Like, it was unfortunate I didn't take a video because I was only focused on getting to where I can find a seat and just put my laptop somewhere. But it was just chaotic. It was a chaotic scene.
You know this. Where were the security men?
The security, prior to the final whistle, they came out, they just surrounded the place. But eventually, we didn't see where they went. You can see in your shot, you can only see some people in just reflectors, but you can't find the security. So I was even shocked that this was happening because they moved us into that tunnel. You see the tunnel, you are seeing the players
Yeah.
enter.
Okay.
We moved straight into it. Then we made a sharp curve. Then it was just like a tunnel. You could only see you could only see air conditioners, pipes
Okay.
over there,
Okay.
and the heat over there was very, very bad. Too much heat. In one of my interviews, realized I was very sweating. The people I was talking to were also sweating, and it's so unfortunate that a CAF official died. We just walked past him, and I thought, oh, this guy just collapsed, and they were just going to bring him back to life, only for us to get to Ghana on our arrival and hear that the man we saw had indeed passed away, and tells you that what happened, I thought it was just something that I had seen somewhere before, but tells you that it was very bad for West African football because Ghana, Nigeria, we are brothers. So I don't know what resulted into the fans. Maybe it might be they were disappointed in their players, or they expected so much from them, knowing that the Black Stars did not do well at the AFCON 2021, and Nigerians had a perfect start at the group stages, only to fall at the hands of Coach Otto Addo's men.
Mr. Joe,
Yeah.
it was an unfortunate situation,
Yeah.
and it wasn't good for the game. It was an exciting game, a game that everyone enjoyed, but to end it like this, it was very disappointing. What's your take on it?
Yeah, it's a dark night for African football, and we've come very far to witness some of these things. I mean, you don't expect something like that to happen. With the world watching, a lot of big stars on display. If you look at the players for both squads, some of them play for some of the best teams in Europe, and they would be scandalized to see something like this happening. This is a shame for African football, and I expect CAF to really, really sanction the Nigerian Football Federation because it clearly is a breach of security. And while I understand the disappointment by the Nigerian fans, it is no excuse for them to pour onto the field and attack players of their own national team and players of the opposition national team. It is unacceptable, and it shouldn't happen in this day and age. I mean, I know the stakes are high, I know there's disappointment, but you cannot make that excuse for why supporters will behave the way they behaved. I mean, it shouldn't happen in this day. And I think the Nigerian Football Federation know that they will be sanctioned heavily. Their president, Ahmad Jupenik, is a member of the FIFA Council. He knows the ramifications of what they have done. And he would be scandalized to see something like that, because if he goes for a FIFA meeting, they'll ask him why this is happening. This is backward. And unfortunately, this happens in a lot of African countries. A lot of African countries. You saw even in Senegal and the Egypt game, the laces that were on display, they too are going to be sanctioned. This happened too often. The fans must be sensitized to know that there are 3 results in a game. You either win, you draw, or you lose. And whichever way the results go, you just have to be sportsman and accept it in good faith and not be a sour loser.
Baba. I mean, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
It wasn't good at all. What would you say about the chaos?
I mean, like everybody, we are disappointed. This is basically what the FA was trying to avoid, this pitch evasion, and I'm certain that was why the game wasn't played in Lagos, because the fans in Lagos are more erratic and they can be fanatics, you know. But taking it to Abuja altogether, the purpose has been defeated, but fans pouring out in this manner, attacking their own players, attacking the opposing team, attacking anybody who comes their way, destroying the stadium, which was paid for or renovated by one man, Aliko Dangote, you know, spending millions of dollars to renovate the entire stadium in preparation for this game, and he just destroyed it. Meanwhile, the country, again, is suffering economically, because, I mean, if you destroy this, where is your money that will be used to fix it? Taxpayers' money. I mean, government won't go somewhere else to go and look for money to fix it. And again, fans need to be sensitized that football games, there are 3 results: a draw, a win, or a lose. If you lose, you should take it in good faith. However, games involving Ghana and Nigeria, we all know, are tense. And I dare say that if the second leg was in Kumasi and the Super Eagles had won in Kumasi, we probably could have seen something of this nature, because Ghana and Nigeria, the stakes are always high.
Okay.
Across board, entertainment, food, sports, politics, academia, the stakes are high. So it's unfortunate that it happened, and unfortunately too, we lost a CAF official. Definitely CAF was sanctioned, the Football Association, FIFA was sanctioned the Football Association. Amaju Pinnick, unfortunately, again, this happened during his reign. He's had a good run since he became president. Unfortunately, this is going to mar his whole successes or his gains as the president of the FA. But irrespective, fans are angry. This attitude wasn't just them evading the pitch based on the results. No. Nigerians are frustrated. This speaks to deep-rooted issues affecting the state. And prior to this game, on Monday evening, on the Kaduna-Abuja train track, there was an accident, there was an incident. Bandits attacked a train. About 10 people died, if I'm not mistaken, you know. So Nigeria at the moment feels like, in quotes, a failed state. But irrespective, this cannot be justified in any way or manner.
All right, Joseph, you were on the scene, and you made mention of Dr. Joseph Kabungu, who is a CAF official who lost his life. There's been reports that he was beaten by the angry Nigerian fans. Others also are saying he had a cardiac arrest and all. How was it like?
So from what I gathered, immediately we made our way to the tunnel. So whilst this was happening, the Ghanaian fans were still in the stands, because we refused to move, because we are not so sure of security, because some of the fans were standing outside and there were fans on the pitch. So whilst then we got an information from the police that, okay, we should use the pitch and move into the tunnel. So quickly we descended and moved into the tunnel. So we quickly rushed there, and what I gathered was that the late CAF official was there while this was all happening. When the players all came in, he was trying to calm situations down
Okay.
and tell them to stop. Then we just don't know. According to some sources, there was a stampede and he was stepped on. But from my observation, immediately you enter into that tunnel, breathing
Which
becomes
which which tunnel are you talking
the
about?
tunnel that the players
Okay.
walk out
They
onto
use,
the
okay,
pitch.
okay.
That's the same tunnel we use. It's very hard to breathe. There was tear gas there, and everyone was sneezing. You could
Okay.
realize that I still have,
Yeah.
I was sneezing. People didn't know why they were sneezing, so I had to tell them that you feel something in your throat.
Okay.
It's because of the tear gas. So I feel that was one of the reasons why the man collapsed, and unfortunately that he didn't come back and he's not with us today. But what happened in Nigeria was very bad. You know, we had to stand in that particular spot I told you about, that
Tunnel.
underground tunnel, for close to 2 hours.
Where the tear gas was.
Yeah, because from there you move out of
You
the
stood there
stand.
for
2
hours.
hours. 2 hours. All the fans could do was just sing and jubilate and feel happy and proud about themselves that the Black Stars have qualified for the World Cup. And can you imagine a match of this nature and there was no press conference after the match?
After the game.
After the game,
It's
like,
post-match.
have you ever seen any video of Coach Iguavoen addressing issues? Or the only thing that some Ghanaian media houses were able to do was speak with Coach Otto Addo outside the stadium and all that. And this is not good for African football. We can't have something like this. And the interesting bit was that whilst we were there, the police were not with us. We were left to our fate, standing there for 2 hours. And sometimes I had to make reports. And like, you are intimidated because you can't say the words you want to use because some men were standing just behind you, and the next thing you say, they can just hit you with something, and who is there to defend you? By the time someone defends you, your face would have been with wounds. So it was very bad.
So obviously a good game had a bad ending, and in the process, CAF official who happens to be a medical officer who was on duty for doping test lost his life. That is Dr. Joseph Kabongo, who is a Zambian, and the Zambian FA have confirmed it on their social media. Now they say they are waiting for a report from CAF or FIFA to finally know what really caused the death of their beloved Joseph Kabongo. So it's an unfortunate situation that we don't want to talk about, but it's happened, and we are looking forward to sanctions for the NFF. Now, Mr. Dro, we are just about wrapping up. Ghana finally got the qualification.
Yes.
What's your expectation in the World Cup?
Well, it's an opportunity to correct some of the wrongs from different levels of stakeholders. For the FA, I think it's an opportunity to reconnect with the Ghanaian people, an opportunity to reconnect with the Ghanaian journalists, because there's been a lot of animosity between the two.
Do you think the love is back?
The love has always been there, which is why some of us believe that we should stop the hashtag bring back the love, because the love is always there. If you do the right things, Ghanaians don't have, there's no other option but to support the national team. And you saw it in Kumasi, the outpour of love and support for the national team. Yes, there's a reason why people fell out of love with the Black Stars, but you need to do the right thing. So it's not about bringing back the love, it's about doing the right things. So, and the call-ups during the CK reign, the perception about player influencing, executives influencing player call-ups and all of that, and the sharp divide even among journalists. You seem to have pro-GFA journalists and against GFA journalists. All these things must stop. And I feel that the qualification to the World Cup gives a very good grounds for the FA to do that. It needs to reconnect with the people and if you like, court the support of these people. We are all stakeholders in this thing. We need to now sit up, see which players we are going to bring in to help, because we have between now and November for the tournament to start. But by October, the team would be going on their training tour and all of that, their camping and all of that. Between now and then, it's not a time to influence player selections. It's the time to encourage all the Ghanaian players who are in the diaspora who have a part to play in how successful we'll be at the World Cup to come on board. If we need to convince them let's convince them. We have heard the talk about Callum Hudson-Odoi,
Odoi.
Tariq
Lamptey.
Lamptey,
Yeah.
and other Ghanaians,
Inaki Williams.
Salisu,
Salisu.
Kamal Sowa, and all the guys who, for one reason or the other, have decided not to play for the national team. When you qualify for the World Cup, it's a great magnet to attract all the best players that you have. You remember Kevin Prince Boateng's situation? It's because we qualified for the World Cup. Even Otto Addo was in Germany when he first played for the national team, but at the Africa Cup of Nations. We need to do things right. It's not a time to inflate budget to be able to steal money and enjoy the booty. This is not the time to do that. This is not the time to influence player selections. This is not the time to say, but you doubted us and now we've been able to qualify, so in your faces and you are ashamed. No, this is the time to rally everyone around the flag. And for me, it's a big deal for this government because they knew if we had not qualified for this World Cup, with all the hardship that we're witnessing in this country, you could have imagined what would have happened yesterday if we didn't qualify. So it's also an opportunity for the government to rally the people and to also bring some relief to the people. Look, everybody's in a joyous mood and a joyous state, but they expect that government will do things to alleviate the suffering of the average Ghanaian. Yes, we are going to enjoy this thing for the next 1 week or so, and everybody will go back to normalcy. But for the other stakeholders, the ministry, the GFA, the government, the NSA, everybody must rally around the flag, encourage Ghanaians. There will be businesses for travel and tour companies, for people who are doing paraphernalia and everything. This is an opportunity to rally the people and bring some investment into the country. Mind you, these Black Stars are guaranteed $12 million by this qualification. Yeah. $12 million. That's a lot of money for this economy. I mean, you may say 12 million is small. Look like how the figures you hear of what government is doing, but 12 million for a sports industry alone is a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah, Baba, Ghana, Nigeria, whatever happens, we are brothers. So, you watched the team, the first leg and the second leg, and I know maybe you might have your expectation for the Black Stars. What do you think going forward Ghana should improve on?
I think Ghana has a good team. This thing reminds me of 2010, the DDRU eras and whatnot. Okay. They are new, they are inexperienced, but they're hungry, which is the most important thing, you know, going into any tournament of this magnitude. So I expect them to do well. However, what needs to be done, and this is going to be a very, very difficult task for Otto Addo, improving on the attacking options. Since the exit of Jan, even while he was there, I mean, the Black Stars struggled to score. Why that happens, I don't know. But Jordan has not proven to be the most reliable strikers when it comes to football. Afeni-Jan, however, he's young. I mean, Mourinho is now trying to groom, trying to work on his skills. Unfortunately, between now and November, I don't know what is going to change with regards to his abilities. So, I mean, scouting more, you know, and even if you don't have the perfect number 9, why don't you have complementary players that can actually cushion the forward and can put the goals in the net. But for me, as far as I'm concerned, the Black Stars will get the maximum support from Nigeria, because in as much as we like to think that, oh, we are enemies, I mean, when it comes to the football proper, Nigerians will definitely support Ghana.
So do you think the Jollof argument is settled now?
I've always enjoyed Ghana Jollof.
So it's settled. Ghana Jollof is the best. Yeah. I don't feel. Will you be hoping to go to Qatar? Because yesterday I said it to myself. I said I'm going to Qatar.
One of the things that I think Ghana is capable of doing is that definitely, for sure, someone will be at Qatar, but it will be a delight to have all the sports team in Qatar covering and giving our audience the live streaming and making them have a feel of what's going on in the stadium and all that. But we'll see how that one goes. But unfortunately, I didn't try the Nigerian Jollof because we went to the Ghana High Commission. Okay. They gave us Jollof and Kinky, you know, Ghana. Kinky for Jollof. So I went for Kinky. But one of the things I observed after the Black Stars game, well, the fans waited for them at the airport on arrival. And when they got there, they were not allowed to get down and meet the fans. I feel there's a time to allow the fans to bond with the players. It brings a particular aura and makes the fans feel like they are part of the team. But when we draw them back and make them feel like
demigods. That's where anytime they fault, then people go out and criticize them. So I think moving forward, the FE must strategize because looking at what happened in Kumasi, you realize that the tertiary supporters of Kumasi and Kotoko, they came onto the pitch, the tartan tracks, and they started singing their hearts out because they felt close to the players because they were on the same ground and stuff. So I think Qatar is going to be nice and it's going to be great only if the fans and the players all show their commitment and determination to do much more. But yeah, definitely Ghana will. Let's hope for the best.
All right, let's hope for the best. Last verse, then we wrap up.
Yeah.
Mr. Drew, you were at the AFCON.
Yes, I was
Are
at
you,
the
are you
AFCON.
going to Qatar?
Yes, we'll go to Qatar. I'll go to Qatar, but as managing editor for Ghana Web, we're already in conversations with the travel and tour company. I think we'll go to Qatar. The question is how many people will take to Qatar. If things go right, we could take more than 2 people
My
to
name
Qatar.
should be first on the list.
Adam Afio would beg to disagree, but we will be in Qatar. We are happy with the coverage from Kumasi, from Cameroon to Kumasi, these playoffs. We've been to Abuja. It's only right and proper that we go to Qatar. So our fans and our audience should stay tuned. November, December will be a very good month. We'll bring them all the exclusive interviews that they would want to see on our platforms. Ghana Web TV, Ghana Web, Nigeria Web, Cameroon Web. Cameroon is also going to the World Cup, so yeah. It's a big deal for Cameroon as well. So Africa Web is going to, if you like,
to represent.
Fully. If we have the money, we'll take the entire sports team there.
Yeah, it would be nice
Let me chip
experience.
in this one. So the Nigerian fans in Abuja, so when they realized that the Ghanaian fans were in, anytime we walk past any of them or we drove past any of them, the first thing they say is, Ghana must go. And the fans realized that, no, these people, they don't understand what they are saying. Ghana must
Ghana
go
must
where?
go, so we are going to the World Cup.
So then whenever they say Ghana must go, then they reply, to the World Cup. Nigeria must stay in Africa.
All right,
But that's
so,
just by the way.
yeah. So, Mr. Drew, we are going to Qatar.
Yes, confirmed. We're going to Qatar.
Yeah. Babatunde, would you go to Qatar?
I mean,
Nigeria is not in Qatar.
Yeah, last 4 years we were watching on TV. We were watching the Nigerians play on TV. So
So you don't want Babatunde to go?
I wish.
I remember going to Usu, having to chase Nigerian fans just to speak to Ghana Web. Because why would I go all the way to Usu? Because that's where the Nigerians are in the evening when they played Argentina. I remember that game very vividly. But if like Ghana was playing, that definitely, if you are going to play and maybe I might be in Ghana, I just go to ShopRite, I just go to the pubs.
So Baba should stay in Ghana
Baba,
and get to...
I'm going to stay, but I just want Mr. Drew to promise me on this set that AFCON 2023, I have to be there.
Mr. Drew, it's a challenge to you. Are you going to
We've started. I mean, in the past, we never go to these things. We've gone to Cameroon, we've covered these things, and we are giving people opportunity to experience this thing firsthand. So, I mean, Nigeria will be there in 2023. Definitely, we will go.
Okay, so Baba.
It's an Ivory Coast, so we can put him in a car.
The sporting calendar this year looks very exciting. We are going to have Commonwealth between July, August. Then we are going to have the Women's Under-20 World Cup
in Costa Rica.
So in Costa Rica, then the World Cup. So a lot to look forward to on Ghana, where I tell you, it's going to be very exciting.
Definitely one of us will travel. Yeah, Costa Rica is in there, Qatar is in there. One will travel. So this is where we wrap up on the show, and I know we've given you good coverage of the Ghana versus Nigeria Jollof Derby. We've given you all that you need to know, from live updates, live streaming, giving you updates on mynigeria.com, ghanaweb.com, everything. We will come your way and do a better job in the World Cup and do a better preview and reviews of shows and all that. Thanks for sticking with us till this moment. My name is Enini Mano. Until we meet again, it's bye.